You know, there's this massive industrial challenge happening all around us, every single day. But here's the thing, it's completely invisible. It's a really cool story about pollution, a kind of wasteful old solution, and one just incredibly clever piece of engineering that's cleaning up our air.
All right, so let's just kick things off with a question. What could possibly connect the process of painting a brand new car with manufacturing the tiny, delicate microchips inside your phone? I mean, they seem like they're from completely different worlds, right? But they share a common and totally invisible byproduct.
Well, the surprising answer is a type of air pollution. Both of these huge industrial processes release something called volatile organic compounds, or what we usually just call VOCs for short.
So what in the world is a VOC? I know, the name sounds super complex, but the idea is actually pretty simple. These are just carbon-based chemicals that, well, they evaporate really easily. They just turn into gas at room temperature. And once they're floating around in the air, they can be a real hazard to our health and to the environment.
Yeah, you've definitely come across these without even realizing it. We're talking about chemicals like toluene, benzene, even ethanol, and they're released from all sorts of industries we rely on. Everything from the giant paint booths that give our cars that beautiful shine to the super high-tech factories producing lithium-ion batteries and semiconductors.
Okay, so we've got this invisible pollution problem coming from all these essential industries. So what do we do about it? Well, for a long time, the main solution has been, let's just say, a little bit brute force.
The most common method is, you just burn it. You collect all that polluted air and you run it through a super high-temperature oxidizer. The intense heat breaks down the VOCs and converts them into harmless carbon dioxide and water. Seems simple enough, right? But there's a massive catch.
And this is where the problem is. See, if the air has a high concentration of VOCs, this burning method actually works great. The VOCs themselves basically act as the fuel. But that's not the reality. In most factories, the exhaust is mostly just clean air, with a teeny tiny concentration of VOCs. Trying to burn that is like, trying to light a single drop of gasoline floating in an entire swimming pool. It is incredibly inefficient. It takes enormous amounts of extra fuel, and get this, it creates a ton of extra CO2 emissions just to run the cleaning equipment itself.
Clearly, there had to be a better way. And that, my friends, brings us to the hero of our story, a truly elegant innovation that just completely changes the game.
So, a Japanese company called SEIBU GIKEN developed and commercialized the world's very first rotor-type VOC concentrator. Now, this thing doesn't replace the burner, but it acts as a crucial, absolutely genius step that goes before it. It was designed specifically to solve that concentration problem we were just talking about.
Okay, so this is where the real magic happens. How does this machine take a gigantic volume of barely polluted air and turn it into something that's actually easy to treat?
At the very heart of this system is a massive, rotating honeycomb wheel. And you can really get a sense of the scale here from the person standing right next to it. I mean, these things are huge. The honeycomb structure is made with a special material called zeolite, which has these incredible properties for trapping molecules.
The absolute easiest way to understand this whole thing is to think of that wheel as a giant, rotating chemical sponge. Its one and only job is to soak up those nasty VOCs from the air that's passing through it. So the whole process is like this continuous two-step dance. In step one, huge fans push that low-concentration exhaust air through one big section of the rotating wheel. And just like a sponge, the wheel adsorbs the VOC molecules. That means they just stick to the surface, and it lets clean air pass right through. Then, as that section of the wheel rotates around to the other side, a much smaller stream of hot air is blown through it in the opposite direction. And this hot air, it acts like someone squeezing the sponge, releasing all those captured VOCs into that small, concentrated airstream.
This diagram really shows the whole cycle perfectly. So on one side, you've got this large volume of air coming in. As it passes through the wheel, the VOCs get captured and clean air goes out. Simple. Then as the wheel rotates, that section moves over to the other side. That's where a small stream of hot air pushes through, releases the trapped VOCs, and creates a highly concentrated stream that then gets sent off to a much smaller, way more efficient burner. It's brilliant.
So, why does all this clever engineering matter so much? Well, the results are, honestly, they're stunning. Let's take a look at the real-world impact.
First off, efficiency. This system can remove up to 99% of the VOCs from the exhaust gas. That is an absolutely incredible level of purification. It makes sure that what we're putting back into the atmosphere is actually clean.
And here is the real game changer.
It can concentrate those captured pollutants by up to 30 times. So what does that mean? It means the air going to that final burning stage is now so rich with VOCs that the VOCs themselves become the fuel. This drastically reduces, or sometimes even completely eliminates, the need for any extra natural gas.
And the real-world savings are just crystal clear. A case study showed that a typical system using only a big old burner would generate over 7,000 tons of CO2 a year just from the fuel it burns. By adding the VOC concentrator, that number is drastically reduced. It saves money, and it massively cuts the carbon footprint of the cleaning process itself.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. This isn't just some niche piece of technology. It is having a real, global impact on our ability to manufacture the things we need, but without trashing the planet.
I mean, SEIBU GIKEN has already delivered over 5,000 of these units to about 30 countries all around the world. They're being used in all those critical industries we talked about before: automotive, battery production, printing, semiconductors, and they're making all of them cleaner.
Ultimately, what started out as this clever engineering solution to an efficiency problem has become a really powerful tool for protecting the environment. It allows us to keep making the products we all rely on while preserving the quality of the very air we all breathe.
And the company itself says its goal isn't just about selling equipment. They say they are committed to achieving a climate-neutral society where everyone can live with a smile.
It's a powerful vision, right? Where innovation serves not just profit, but the entire planet. And it's just a great reminder that sometimes the most impactful solutions are the ones designed to solve the problems we can't even see.